Okay, well, it is 9 o'clock. Just about to have the waiting room cleared out here. So if you guys are ready, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us this morning for our social media, Simplify Your Social. It's gonna be a great one. We had Tia actually Hopper with us yesterday for our meet and mastermind, and it was some great information. So I think you guys are gonna be really happy that you jumped on this morning to listen to this conversation. Sorry, I just talking and working at the same time. I want to start by thanking one of our sponsors, Collabra, with the software product Volumia, one of today's sponsors. You're going to hear more about this interesting tech program. It's an exclusive to our DMAR members, and Nobu Hata will be telling you more about this in a little bit. In the meantime, I want to introduce our industry partner spotlight, Travis Maurer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Travis, take it away.
Thanks, Julie. Good morning, everyone. Just, real quick, introduce myself. I'm a licensed mortgage loan officer, and I work for Legacy Mutual. It's a pretty small company here in Colorado, small presence, I should say, large company in Texas and Tennessee, down south area. Me, my branch manager, one other fellow loan officer make up the whole of Legacy Mutual here in Colorado. But one of the best mortgage companies in terms of just great communication, delivering on-time closings, accurate closings, fulfilling the promises we have. Regular, traditional lending. We do have lock and shop options. We've got pretty much anything you guys could need. And I'm happy to help out. I'm a grinder, I'm a hard worker. You guys need help at open houses, have questions about financing, things like that. I'm always available and open. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to get to know you guys. So if you get time, coffee meetings, things like that. Been with DMAR for a year. I don't think I've missed a meeting yet. I love this group. And so I'm happy to help and partner up and take care of any of my potential referral partners through DMAR. So great group, and please reach out if you need anything. I'm a fellow veteran, or I'm a former veteran. I love helping out other veterans. So yeah, give me a call and let's talk.
Awesome. Thanks, Travis. And Travis actually doesn't miss a meeting. He was there yesterday learning about social media. So thank you for joining us again today, Travis. And now I'm going to turn it over to our annual sponsor, Chase Bank, in particular, Matthew Haye, Senior Home Lending Advisor with Chase. Matthew, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for stopping in on the Zoom call today. Just like Travis, I'm a lender. You've probably heard of Chase before. If you haven't, then crawl out from under your rock. No, I'm just kidding. But really quickly, so things that Chase is doing in Colorado that's really compelling. We've got a $2,500 home buyer grant with no income cap. It's all over Denver. A lot of the mountain towns have it as well. Chase also has a 21-day purchase closing guarantee. We will pay your buyer $5,000 if we miss a closing date that is 21 days or longer. So we don't ever have to pay it out. That's why the guarantee is so high. We will do no cost, fully underwritten loans by a human underwriter prior to offer. So really, really helps kind of tighten in those timelines a bit. And then finally, for those on the call who are a little bit more experienced real estate agents, if you've done at least 20 transactions in the last 24 months, please hit me up and let me know. We have a program called Chase Agent Express, where you can get fully pre-approved leads, buy and sell side directly from Chase. You don't pay anything up front. If you close with them, there is a commission split. Be happy to talk more with you about it, but it's a really compelling program, especially when we're transitioning into a more lean time on the purchase side. And then finally, it's always nice to have somebody from Chase in your back pocket. We're in 50% of households in the United States. So please hit me up if you've got customers that bank with Chase already. There's a lot of synergy there. Some people, as I'm sure you know, like to keep everything in one place, make it simple, make it stress-free, and we're happy to do it when we can. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, It's Matthew, and we couldn't do a lot of things we do without the help of our industry partners and our annual sponsors like Chase. So thank you guys, both Travis and Matthew, for joining us and supporting the work here at DMAR. And now let's get started with our program. So first I'm going to introduce Tia Hopper. Tia spent 10 plus years in the digital marketing and communication space before figuring out that social media was her thing. She's had some great jobs and worked with some amazing people. While working full-time as a VP of Marketing Communications, she started getting requests from former colleagues to help their current company with social media. Her little side business quickly grew into what is today Tia Hopper Consulting. When she became pregnant with her first child, Myra, she knew she wanted to go all in. She's not only passionate about the work she does and the people she gets to work with, she's beyond grateful that it allows her to live her absolute best life. And along with Tia, we're going to welcome Nobu Hata, the CEO of DMAR. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Hey, this is a weird weather Friday, so thank you guys for taking out of your time to, I don't know, shovel, I assume, and come in from the cold and talk social media with us today. I'm actually going to take off my CEO hat and put my strategist hat back on. I actually met you, Tia, way back when I was at the National Association of Realtors. I was then managing NAR social media strategy, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that other stuff, while helping my wife with her real estate strategies and real estate. You were at the State Association of Missouri, right?
Yep. Director of Digital Engagements, where I started. Yeah, lots changed in life and on social media since then. It doesn't even look the same anymore.
So get your questions ready about all things social media and actionability and executability of social media in your real estate business. I'll tell you right now that even now, what's been interesting, as you mentioned, there's been a lot of things that have changed. But what I'm definitely seeing is that the people that are doing this right are way the hell over here doing it really, really well. And there's some people that are still kind of asking the same questions that have been asked since the beginning of Facebook, right? So hopefully what we can do with this hour is to kind of help you move on, figure out which platform to use, what's relevant to you and your clients, the bottom line of what you should all be doing, which is protecting your clients online, and talking about right now, as Matthew actually mentioned, the need to curate leads on the digital space, whether it's in Facebook, social media platforms like Facebook, or any other digital domain that you've got. So you ready to talk about that stuff?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll ask her on the fly here as you're doing it, but I'm going to just start firing away. Okay. And I think the big thing that we need to kind of get out of the way here, I think, before we start talking about the actual platforms, is what do you think are the biggest mistakes realtors are making right now in their social media use?
Yeah, I think one, gosh, there's a lot, but one is just, we talked yesterday about branding, but not getting clear on their brand, right? So you have a brand, whether you want to or not. You have a personal brand, you have a professional brand. Oftentimes, because you are the face of your business, they're going to be very similar. And so you need to think about what you want that brand to look like for you and how you're going to differentiate yourself, right? So often I think people kind of want to play it safe or just kind of be vanilla. And so they just end up looking and sounding like everybody else. And that's not going to get you anywhere. And so what are you going to do to differentiate yourself and to stand out and to connect with your clients and potential clients? That's the story that you're going to be telling online. And so once you can get clear on that, it makes social media so much easier. So, I said you have your personal brand, you have a professional brand. Think about from that professional, standpoint, what do you want people to think about when they hear your name, when they see your face? And just write that down and kind of get clear on it. Maybe it's like 4 to 5 things, but what are you passionate about? Are you a veteran? Are you a runner? I know a realtor back in St. Louis, she loves animals and she gives a certain percent of, every, her sales back to her local animal shelter. And people connect with around those things because they also love animals, or they just all of a sudden you feel human,
Yeah.
And
but you're bringing up a good point where, most realtors try to be everything to everybody and you become inauthentic. Kind of adds to the question that Brenda Belgar just asked. this 80-20 rule. Just be you 100% of the time, right? You just happen to be a human being that sells real estate, right? Everything else about what you do to earn that business is something you need to be authentic about. So don't be fake, because I think the big thing, especially as your client base starts to skewing younger, they can smell the commission breath and the BS right away that you're trying to be everything to everybody. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you asked about the 80-20 rule. I do still think, stick to that. Don't like get caught up on it. But yeah, over on, your Facebook business page, I think it should be 80% business, 20% personal. And on your personal page, it's 80% personal, 20% business as a rule of thumb. But as you said, you're still the same person. And also, we talk about the personal stuff, like you get to decide, like, yes, you need to be sharing who you are and being authentic. But if you don't want to, I get asked this a lot by realtors, if you don't want to share your kids, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, that's up to you. You get to decide. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to share everything, but decide what you want to share, and how you want people to know you. And then, yeah, but if you don't want to share the personal, kid stuff, you don't have to. But you've got to be authentic and human for people to feel like they know you. And I shared this yesterday, but it really is all about that know, like, and trust. And so if you aren't showing up as you, people don't get a sense of who you are. And so they can't really, do they like you? Do they trust you? You've got to show up and do it consistently, over time, for them to feel like, oh yeah, I know them. And when it's time to buy, like, you're the person that they go to because they feel like they know you from the things that you've been sharing online, over the course of time.
Which you inevitably want at the end of the day, no matter where you are. So there's mortgage people on here, there's title people, there's also salespeople. Every single one of you guys has a story where you've had a client that said, I feel like I know you, right? It's because they've been stalking you online for like forever. And that's okay, whether it's on your website, whether it's your social media, but figure out where your line is. Another good point that you brought up, a really good kind of rule of thumb in general is to have your business address. If you're going to put your business address on your personal and in any of your business profiles. If you have a Google Voice number, use that. And then when you're talking to your clients, by the way, make sure that they have scrubbed their addresses off their social media as well, because you don't want any weirdness there when you take them on as a client. I'm going to give you a couple horror stories about that a little later. So, when you think about preparing what you're going to be doing online, think about what you are, what your trust proposition is, at Tia's point, so that folks will see who you are and see what makes you different. If you stalk my wife on social media, I know you have, the big thing with her is she's unapologetic about giving a crap about foster dogs and charity in the city of Chicago, where she sells real estate, along with things like being totally crazy about food. And like, people know her now for not only who she is, but what she eats as well. It's just nuts. That's her line, whatever. It works for her.
Yeah. And then that's a great point, is like, there's other things that make her her. Those are the things that she's decided to share as a part of her brand to become known for, right? So that's what you've got to get clear on. Something else I was going to say, a couple of things. One thing you mentioned is people are going to go find you. Yes, we're using social media to hopefully get new leads, right? But also more and more, I feel like it's become, kind of like what a website used to be. It's like someone gets a referral for you, they're going to go check you out. So they're going to look at your website, they're going to look at Instagram. And sometimes it's not about, getting all these new leads. It's just for someone to go land and check you out and say, do I want to work with them or not? And maybe they're comparing you against one or two other, people. The other thing is, make sure you have a recent profile photo that looks like you.
Oh my God, yeah.
That is like the biggest thing of your brand, is like your profile image, photo.
Y'all got to realize your competition right now has their pictures from 1995 holding like a 2002 cell phone up to their ear with like maybe a puppy or a cat. That stuff has got to stop. Having a picture of you everywhere along with current information is paramount.
Yep.
Oh my God, geez, I can't tell you the stories that I've heard about that. Okay, so let's talk about once I figure out what my brand is, right? There's this plan that's needed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And by the way, your plan for any kind of content that we're going to talk about content in a second here. Content plans, when it comes to editorial calendars or content calendars, think in my mind 6 months out, right? So peak real estate search times, I mentioned it yesterday, starts in November for next year's business. Okay. So when you're thinking about when you start ramping up your marketing, you actually start thinking about it, actually what you're going to be doing right now, and then execute on it during the fourth quarter of every year for next year's business. What does that content calendar look like to you? When do you, what does that cadence look like when it comes to content creation all the way through to posting on social media?
Yeah, I could talk about content calendars all day. I think that's like the one thing, if you don't have anything else, like everyone needs a content calendar. So first it's figuring out what you're going to post, right? Getting clear on what it is that you're going to post. So if you haven't really thought that through, I recommend like just, getting a list, doing a content brainstorm, getting all of your ideas in one place of what you're going to post, and then figuring out, how often you're going to post. That's another question of how often, but even if it's, 2 to 3 times a week, up to maybe 5 to 7, figure out what that looks like for you. And then you're going to map it out on a content calendar. So it doesn't have to be fancy. Like the best thing is just whatever you're going to use, right? So some people like a digital planner for their life, some like a paper. So whatever is going to work for you, figure that out, choose your tool, and then start to just map out your content. I think, if you can map it out for 6 months, that's great. But what you really want to be focusing on is kind of 30 days out, right? So like within the next 30 days, you have a really solid plan of what you're going to be posting. Start with events. Start with holidays, things that are tied to a date that aren't going to move, right? So maybe you have some open houses, or maybe we're looking at May and it's like Memorial Day, Mother's Day. You can get, if there's things that are kind of connect to your brand, you can even put some of those fun holidays on there. Don't go crazy with them. Like National Dog Day might be a good fit for you, for your wife. But put those on there, and then figure out what you're going to post around there, right? So maybe it's a quote every Monday, maybe it's a tip every Friday, but put those on there. And then what's really great about a calendar is you can say, okay, like what should I be talking about in May? Maybe it's curb appeal, maybe it's lawn care, like what are the things for that month that makes sense? So that's where it's great. If you can plan it out for 6 months or a year, like get those things on there. What are you going to be talking about that's really relevant and timely to your customers? And then you're going to work backwards to create that content, like you said. So you're not, you're working out and you're not, I was talking to people after the presentation yesterday, and it's like, if you wait until the day of or the week of, like, you're not going to get anything out. Or if you do, you're just going to throw something up there. So you need to be working backwards to create that content. And that's also where, if you have a calendar, you can put together a team to help you get some of that content ready, or maybe you're getting the content ready and someone else is posting it for you. But it allows you to have a plan and to be strategic and not just be, last minute trying to throw stuff up on the fly.
Yeah, having a use Google Calendar. If you head over to Tia, what's your website?
TiaHopper.com.
TEAH Hopper.com. Go hit her site. She's got a really good content calendar that you can use to map out your thing. Now, here's the thing though, is be nimble. You're going to have to start thinking about not necessarily what you think your clients need. It's what your clients don't know that they need. And right now, one of the things that has spiked over the last month or so is, should I sell my home searches on Google? Trends.google.com, by the way, is the best website to stock if you're thinking about what you're going to be needing for your content calendar, because at every Google search in the world, in the state, in the country, gets saved and then gets tracked by Google, because you are a product, by the way. And what's awesome about it is right now you can see how people's attitudes toward real estate have changed. One of the things that I've been hearing a lot about from my neighbors, from realtors around the country and realtors here, is that people are feeling this downturn happening. Right? There's thoughts on a bubble. There's no bubble happening in real estate. I will tell you that right now. But a recession is actually on the books right now. That every economist that I talk to is a thing. People are seeing that, right? And Matthew mentioned it earlier. It's starting to get a little tight here in real estate, and you've got now kind of the true market starting to show itself. Okay. So think about how you're going to be able to help somebody right now who's thinking about selling their home, because they're thinking that this might be it. This might be the top line on how much they can get for their home. So get that information out there, guys. One of the things that have been asked here already, so profile images, be you, again, kind of be you for that. as long as it's up to date, frankly.
Yeah.
Make sure it's up to date.
And high
it's
quality, you
high
know, and
quality.
just your face. I
Yeah,
mean,
you don't need like full body shots. I see full body shots on like LinkedIn. Like you have this biggest spot
Yeah.
here.
The
That's
point
it.
is for someone to see it and then like recognize you, right? So if you walk in a room, they're like, oh yeah, and they're not like, wait a minute, is that the same person that, you know, online? Yeah, going back to the content calendar, you'd mentioned being nimble. I love Google Calendar, but it's so easy to use. And one thing I love about it is you can just drag and drop stuff, right? So if you plan out your month and then, yeah, like something changes, you know, the market changes, or there's something you want to talk about, you get this great idea. And by the way, anytime you get an idea, that's what you should be talking about versus like what you have on the calendar, because you're going to be more excited and passionate about it. Then you just drag and drop and just move stuff back. So what ends up happening for my clients a lot is like they have more content on there than they can ever actually do. But it's great because I've got all these ideas because they keep kind of pushing stuff back and getting more ideas in the moment. And when you have a plan like that, then you're not sitting there stressing, thinking, what should I post? What should I post? You've got ideas to go to. And what happens oftentimes, what I find is when you have this plan, then you kind of, that pressure's off and you get these ideas. You get, because you're just like more creative, you know, you get these great in the moment ideas, which are typically the best ones.
Yeah. Maddie brings up another point here in the chat as well, using third-party tools like Trello. Trello is actually really great. One of the things I wouldn't use though, this is where a lot of gurus will say otherwise, but like don't use TweetDeck, don't use Hootsuite. You figure out one where you're going to go first and where you're going to concentrate on. Anecdotally for me, Instagram is where every one of my friends and family are going. Facebook is like a cesspool of crap right now. You know, unless you're going into groups and engaging there, it's a thing. TikTok is skewing younger. One of the things though that my contacts at Facebook, LinkedIn, all these companies will tell you is that they want you to upload content directly to it rather than using a third party, because they want original content on their site. They don't want somebody else's content from a third party coming to their site, and because they will push you down, algorithmically speaking. Okay, so you know, I know it's easy to use. You might be inclined to use it to kind of save some time, but in my mind, picking one or two platforms to use is a lot better than trying to shotgunning the same crap all over the social platforms. Thoughts?
Absolutely. Yeah, Facebook definitely. I mean, Facebook has been known for that for years. You know, they're kind of butts, you know, they just want you to use theirs. But I think, again, that's Instagram. You know, I will say for a while I scheduled Instagram. And then what I found was not only, you know, what you're talking about, but you have such a short window when you post, you know, when people are engaging, to take advantage of that and like get in the comments. And because the more you comment back, it's going to help reach more people. It's going to help your organic reach. So if you schedule it and then you forget about it, which was happening to me, you miss that window. So that's why I always post and Instagram in real time, so that like, okay, post, I can be ready. You know, it's not like I'm just sitting here like this, but I'm working and I'm seeing the notifications come in, and I can be in the comments and making sure that I'm like taking advantage of that 10 to 20 minutes to make that post, you know, do the best that it can. So definitely recommend it for that reason as well. But that's another reason why if you have a content calendar, you can have everything ready to go. You can have your caption written out. So all you have to do is grab it and post it, you know, so you're not like sitting there trying to do it in Facebook in real time. You already have it ready to go. So it's almost like a scheduler without being a scheduler.
Yeah. You know, scheduling the content out is actually great. But knowing when to do it, right, becomes a thing. How do you pick which platform to use?
So it really goes back to your audience. You were talking about kind of the different ages and what you're trying to accomplish. And I think what type of content you're comfortable, you know, creating. But yeah, if you know, I have clients that are having success on Facebook. It takes a consistency. It takes boosting posts. You have to be willing to do that. But I agree. I mean, for most of my clients, we're looking at Instagram. It seems to be, you know, there's a lot of people over there right now. It's still younger, but there's older people getting on there. So it's still, you're going to reach, you know, a good mix of your audience. And as far as reach and just, you know, organic reach, it's the best bang for your buck. And so what I am, you know, pointing a lot of people to is Instagram. And then if you're going to be creating reels for Instagram, also putting them on TikTok and taking advantage of those channels, because I don't think they're going anywhere. So I would say focusing either on that or on Facebook. I'm not seeing a lot of success of like repurposing content from Instagram to Facebook because it's just different content right now. You know, like if you're going to do Instagram, you should really be looking at reels and creating reels. And so, so yeah, I would kind of go with one of those because like you said, I recommend picking one or two and really focusing on them and not trying to be everywhere. So those are my suggestions right now. That could change in a couple of weeks.
Totally
but-
right. You just never know with this stuff. Okay, here, let's get into kind of my favorite follows. Okay, then you would not recommend not posting to Facebook from Instagram. Treat them as different channels. You have to, because that's what they want. You know, there's going to be some folks that are out there going to be kind of lazy about this stuff and cross post the same content. But yeah, I mean, even though Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same company, Meta, wow.
Yeah.
There is an algorithm there that one changes every day, but two, original content on each. So pick one.
Well, then,
In my mind, I think the big one, Instagram has replaced kind of Twitter for me. In terms of how it's used. So you got that functionality for scrolling, but then you got the reels. Facebook, engage in groups. Group engagement in Facebook is the single-handedly the best way, but also the most time-consuming way to get business because there's some really horrible groups that are out there. Go to where your clients are. It's a really good example for Facebook groups. My wife gets a ton of business from a Chicago first-time parent group called Mama Tribe.
Yeah, I've got a client that's killing it with mom groups. Yeah.
And what's great about it is that her clients are there. So when somebody goes and asks for a realtor, 5 of her clients are chiming in, saying you should be using Shay. Shay gets pinged because Shay's too busy to be on Facebook or any social media, frankly. She gets pinged and gets the notifications. She goes into that group and says, "Hi, yep, here we go." But she also has content for those people to go to that specializes in moving from your condo, your 1-bedroom condo in Chicago, to your first single family home. So you see where content actually matches the group engagement that's out there.
And knowing your audience and that will drive you to what groups to be in, right? Who your audience is, who you want to work with, who your clients are.
Yeah, my wife's social is just Shay Hada. By the way, consistency there is big. Stop it with your cutesy names. Use your name, okay? Because at the end of the day, when somebody Googles you, these social media platforms, including LinkedIn, by the way, has way more SEO juice than most of your websites, which is kind of sad.
YouTube as well is a big one. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about follows. Does she put content in the group or only on? Yeah, so she doesn't put any content. Her clients share her content. Her clients are ambassadors for her
I
brand.
was getting ready to say we could have a whole thing on ambassadors, but yeah, every client that I've worked with, I've just started developing an ambassador program with them. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's reaching out to maybe past clients or also just like people that are naturally supporting you, that are your advocates, that are your ambassadors.
Yep.
Simply just sending them a note and saying, "Hey, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for already being an ambassador. Here are some ways that you could like continue to do that." And just give them a little prompt. Facebook groups, whatever it is. It makes such a difference. So when people see your stuff, they're going to share it. They're going to tag you. 10 to 12 people, it can make such a difference. Ambassadors are huge.
Okay, so let's talk about my favorite shares, your favorites that are out there. Okay, I'm going to actually be a little, I'm going to rock this boat a little bit.
Okay.
I will say that the most social thing you should be using in your business is a really good website. If your website, bottom line, isn't the hub of all of your content after you've created your content calendar, and you're not posting stuff to your website, which from your website can go to social media via sharing or having your clients share it, I think you're doing this business wrong. You got to own the thing that is the most social. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it before, but we were talking about the algorithm changes. It's getting harder and harder to get seen on Facebook. So, and even Instagram has changed so much. There are people that have their whole business on Instagram, the algorithm changed, and all of a sudden it's like they're not being seen. So having a website, having a CRM, having an email list, like these are things that you own. So no matter what happens on, with the algorithms, you have a way to communicate with your clients, with potential clients, with past clients, and you're putting your best content, like you said, on your website, and then you're driving people, you're using social media to get them back to your website where you're capturing them.
Okay, so for you guys out there who run a single agent or maybe a small team, this is burlinggameproperties.com. So to Tia's point, This website is one of the most social sites I've ever seen. What's really, really cool about it is that I don't see a dang realtor on here. There isn't a realtor saying, look how awesome I am. There isn't a realtor saying, look how all the crazy houses that I'm selling, cool, look at me. What you have here is a fantastic website that shows off the value of that Raziel Unger, who's the number 5 realtor in Burlingame, just outside the San Francisco Bay Area, shows to his clients. This kind of value, guys, is huge. He's built his whole brand around client-centric business, patience, honesty, knowledgeable, being a good negotiator. He pays 6 figures a year on Yelp. That's his one thing that he pays for, along with this website. And when you're looking at his site, there's very minimal realtor presence. It's more about what he does for his clients. If you take a look at these pictures here, guys, this is a really good way to engage with your industry partners, is to get a photographer. And what he does is, at the end of every closing, he picks every year his top 20 clients from that year and turns them into a marketing stream for him. These pictures, guys, not only make fantastic marketing for him, but they make fantastic closing gifts for his clients. And he puts them on his site and he shares them. They become part of his marketing. He talks a lot about the neighborhoods. See, if you could see here, I was going to say that real estate prices there are out of whack, but they're kind of out of whack here too. But this is also a market where there's 2,000 agents. And if you're a top agent, you sell 40 houses a year, maybe. Okay. So the competition is swift, but man, he's got a lot of things that people want to share, right? What you have that's shareable that other people want to share on their social media that has your brand is absolutely huge. Thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I'm loving this. So one, I was going to say, when you mentioned those words, he had honest, whatever, those are that's his brand, right? Those are his brand values, what we call them. So he's picked 4 or 5 things, like those are his brand values that are on there. And then which neighborhood's best for you? That's probably, we talked about frequently asked questions yesterday. That's probably a question he gets asked over and over again. So instead of answering it over and over again, he can just send them that link and say, go here, and it'll, answers it for them. Saves him so much time. Also obviously makes him look like he knows what he's doing. Yeah, so this is great. And storytelling, right now it is all about storytelling. So he's taking his clients and he's telling their story and creating content. So not only are they, great testimonials and reviews, but he's creating, it's storytelling. It's beautiful.
Yeah. See these pictures here? These are closing gifts, guys, that turn into marketing. It's scalable. It's future-proof. This is the guy who used to spend $100,000 to switch up his website every other year, but he found this magic, kind of magic touch to his site. He hasn't touched it in over a decade, guys. If we shut up as an industry, got out of the way, and let our clients do the talking for us, that will solve 90% of our problems when it comes to what is your value, is to let your clients do the talking. You'll see this trend here, guys. What are you going to do for your customers out there that don't know that they need you? Okay. Big questions that you have out there. Brokerage perspective. This is Hawaii Life. I'm talking to Matt Beal right now about getting him out here for our July broker summit. Same thing. This is not about listings. This is about buying and selling a home in Hawaii. These guys have their own TV show and HGTV. And what they have done is added listings and their agents and their client conversations to their content stream via the written word. Hawaii houses, yeah, they're beautiful and they're sexy, but also it's things like farmland. It's also best area to live on the Big Island. It's also things like affordable housing as well, right? These guys led this whole charge in treating yourself like a media outlet, okay? Something to think about. This is my wife's website. This is a Playster website that she gets from the National Association of Realtors. It's $15 a month for this thing. And all she does is share content about, the different areas of Chicago that you might want to live in, along with things like these buyers and sellers questionnaires that she uses on her website. One of the best things you can use is have your website be your referral entry point to you. So having your clients share your site to send to their friends and family so that, hey, here's the value that I get from Shay, along with things like if you want to start up a good interaction with her, she's got a good interaction stream right there. And when it comes to her listings, guys, she talks about the story on how she sold it, not that she sold it in 5 minutes and multiple offers, which, by the way, your clients can do as well. They don't need you for that. Okay. Let's see if we got any questions in the chat. All right. How much time are these people spending creating content? Yeah, Mary, my wife doesn't spend a lot of time on Instagram, so don't worry about it. Because she doesn't view it as any value. She uses her website and she posts to her Facebook page. I'm gonna show you in a second. Time to create.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yep. And that's what I was looking at. A lot of this content that we're showing you, it's evergreen stuff. So you create it once.
Yep.
These blogs, like answering these questions, most of the answers aren't going to change over time. And if they do, you can just go in and tweak a couple of sentences. So you create them once. And again, that's the beauty of a content calendar too, right? Like every December, you're sharing that same blog post. If you're talking about the holidays, how to sell a home during holidays, for example. But getting the ideas down and batching content will save you so much. So let's just say blogs, for example. Let's say you're going to do blogs. Get all of your ideas down for blogs. Maybe you're going to do 1 a month or 2 a month. Get your ideas down. And instead of trying to write, 1 a week or 1 a month, get as many of them done as you can. And you want it to be in your voice, but maybe you get your ideas down and then you hire someone for, $10, $15 an hour to actually put it into appropriate blog format and then get on your website and publish them for you. You don't have to do it all, but if you could spend an hour batching 3 or 4 of them and getting your ideas on paper, the bulk of the content, right? What it is that you're the expert on that you want to share on, then you could have someone else actually package it up and put it out there for you.
So, okay, so just to answer that question real quickly. So what does she do? This is her Facebook page. Her top posts are these posts. Okay. So she runs a lot of virtual events. All of you guys have a Zoom account. Okay. Not because you needed to, it's because you had to, because your clients were all using it because of the pandemic, right? What's cool about Zoom is that if you're paying for it, you can broadcast to your Facebook pages, you could broadcast to Twitter, and every day they add things you could broadcast to. So she actually has all of her first-time home buyer wealth building classes with her mortgage providers and everything else via live Facebook that gets recorded so that she could turn around and reuse it. These are her top posts right now, are all these wealth building classes, along with what to prepare for when you sell your home in 2022. She did that in December of last year. Okay. And just basically broadcast, not showing up anymore. She basically is broadcasting all of this stuff live to her Facebook page, along with sharing it to her personal page. And if her clients are using it, they reshare it to their Facebook pages as well. She got 300 people on this wealth building class right here, guys. Okay, so think beyond things that your clients don't think they know, and give them the information that they didn't know to Google. Starting right now.
I think that's a good point too, that you don't have to be everywhere. Figure out what works for you. The quote I've heard before is find your 90%, right? Figure out what it is that's working for you. It's reels, it's stories. For her, it's those classes. But don't try to be doing all the things, because most likely then, you're not actually having success with any of them. So figure out your 90% and focus on those. And then maybe you're repurposing in 10% of the other places, but you don't have to be everywhere. You have to kind of try some different things to figure out what's going to work for you. The other thing I want to say about those blogs is, when you talked about people passing along her website, so, someone may pass along a website and they'll look at it but maybe they don't end up buying or selling or needing someone for a year. But they have that website. They know how to go back and find them. They might be on your website 10 times before they actually reach out to you. But again, it goes back to that, building that trust and becoming, they're the expert. And then they know where to find you when they're ready.
Some of my favorite Instagram follows. This is Ann Jones out of Tacoma, Washington. She is probably one of the best users of Instagram and video that I've ever seen. Her website, she runs a Windermere brokerage out at Tacoma. So basically all of her agents in her office use some sort of social platforms. And right now, almost all of them are using Instagram. But if you can see here, there's a lot of both family and business and community that she shares. And she gets a ton of verifiable business from it. Locally here, one of the best follows that I've seen is Stuart Crowell from Live Sotheby's. That dude does a really good job of disseminating information, especially right now in real time, both live and recorded on his Instagram page, both via the post and with video. The guy does a really good job. He is a really good follower. I mean, if you look at this ratio here of posts to followers, you could see that his value is really, really up there when it comes to the content that he's putting out. Okay. Some video tips, by the way, right? So, you know, I'm using a Mevo camera right now that could broadcast to almost any social media platform, including things like YouTube. Any tools that you that you're kind of your diehard?
I mean, don't overcomplicate it. I do all of my reels on my phone. I do them in the Instagram app. I don't have a fancy, you know, editing app or anything like that. Getting a tripod that you can put your phone in that has some good lighting, a ring light, and it can be $30. You know, it doesn't have to be a big one, just a little tabletop that you can put your phone in, have good lighting wherever you go. That's the best investment you can make.
Heidi is bringing up a really good point here. It's like, what happens when your bulk of your clients aren't on social media? Rejoice heavily that your clients aren't on there. It's fantastic. You know what is going to be good for you is having that really good social website and really good emails. Nail the subject line in your email and make sure that is social, right? Make it compelling, not anything that's realtor centric. Make it something that it's going to resonate with your clients. Rejoice that they're not on there. Be sure that they're not, by the way. And what you want to do is I'm betting that they skew a little older, is that you may want to be there for their kids, for their friends and their family who are searching for you. Yeah. So have maybe an Instagram or a LinkedIn. In my mind, usually the Venn diagram of people who aren't on social media, but are social in some way, they have their resume on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All right. Thoughts on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is, I mean, I don't feel like we talk about it because again, it's not so sexy.
It's a pleated pants of social media, guys.
But it's, you know, it's a great place to be. I mean, even I sometimes like, why don't I spend more time on LinkedIn? Because a little bit of time I do, I get leads and referrals from it. So what's nice about it is if you're not into social media so much, you can post once a week, you know, once every 2 weeks. And I feel like you can still stay relevant. You don't have to be posting every day, every week. Make sure that you have, you know, your profile's updated. Again, you have a recent image of you in the profile photo, you have a bio, you have a way for people to learn more about you, to contact you. Maybe some recommendations up there, you know, so you could spend a little bit of time just making sure it's up to date, but not having to post so often. So it's a good ROI and use of your time.
Yeah, LinkedIn is great for when I was an agent in Minneapolis and I realized that I was not going to get any of my friends and family in Minneapolis to use me. I realized I'm going to have to go after people who were moving to the Twin Cities. And my LinkedIn channel was fantastic for that because I was able to put in things like market trends, my opinion on where the market was going, overflow markets, like listicles actually work here. So if you're priced out of, when I was an agent, you're priced out of Edina, Minnesota, here are the 3 neighborhoods that folks go to for the same experience without the price tag, right? What you want to think about, like for LinkedIn is that gearing that content towards people that are looking maybe to move here, right? Right now, I would tell you that most of the people that's going to drive the market in Denver for the foreseeable future are not going to be from here because we're at the point where only 1 in 6 local Denverites can afford to buy a home. You're going to start putting content out there for the greater region, maybe the West Coast to see. LinkedIn is great for that. It's also good for reviews and recommendations. So you might want to think about Heidi, a Yelp page to go along with your LinkedIn page to get reviews and recommendations. And the number one question you ask your clients is, you had a choice, why did you pick me for your real estate needs? Give them a compelling question, they will give you a compelling answer, post it on wherever they like to post, LinkedIn, Yelp, or wherever, and you're gonna be okay. Yelp,
yeah,
Google My Business, there's a lot of those kind of social pages out there as well.
Yep, and you know, again, you wanna just make sure that you look the part up there. I don't think you have to spend as much time managing it. Make sure you have it set up. I think, you know, one thing I get from realtors a lot is they've got so many reviews in so many different places. So I agree with what you're saying as far as, you know, where they're going to go, but if they don't have somewhere, like try to have your hub somewhere, you know, is it Zillow? Is it Google? Is it Facebook? and you can repurpose them to other places, right? But like try to have one place where you're getting them. And then, you know, you can also just email and say, can you just copy and paste these others?
Yes.
A lot of times if you make it super easy for them, give them the link, you know, they'll do it.
Yeah, you can copy and paste things like reviews, but it's always best to let your clients do the talking. Frankly, Brenda, when I was doing reviews, it's January 2nd is the 1st and 2nd are the best time to do it because everybody's at home nursing a hangover. So ask them for reviews and you're going to be okay from right there. Best place for reviews to be posted. Right now, I will tell you that I've had conversations with Google and the Google My Business page. From the pure location standpoint, content connecting it back to your website or wherever, Google My Business is the one place I would start. Okay, so go to Google My Business and claim your digital address from the real world. Put all your information there. Your phone number, Google Voice actually helps. Say that you're open 24/7. Okay, and then ask for reviews there because there's a lot of folks that use Google Maps and Google My Business in order to find something. It's got a lot of SEO power. From there, Yelp is also good. Again, ask your clients where they go for reviews and recommendations. Zillow is really good. Realtor.com is really good. Ask your clients where they found you, especially if they weren't referrals. Okay, and what my wife has noticed with hers, a lot of people are finding her on Zillow. So she's doubled down on her Zillow reviews and recommendations. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, it just reminded me last night, you know, we were trying to decide where to go. And so I'm Googling places. And so, if you know, think about it from the end user. Again, like if they're just going to Google you, what's going to come up? And what are those places that, you know, they're most likely to see it and trust? So just, yeah, think about it from the other end of things. There was a question about getting so many characters in your Instagram bio, your Instagram profile. So you may not have, look at what your type is. If you switch to a business and a creator, you'll have more space in your bio. You can also have more contact information there. So it's easier for people to contact you, whether you want them to call you or email you, or you want to put your physical address. There's more options in there. So you might need to switch your account type.
Getting more likes. Now, here's the thing, Ellie. You know, I hate to say it, but if you're not getting any likes, even from the people that you do have, your content most likely sucks. So just kind of play around with that stuff. You don't have any control over half of it because of the algorithms that are used out there. Frankly, when I was an agent, even now when I'm posting to my social, it's literally puppies and kids that seriously drive that stuff. But it's a means to an end, because if you follow me on any of my social right now, you're going to see me post a picture of my kid to gear you up for a message you need to see maybe next week. Okay, there is a strategy to it. Thoughts on that?
Priming the algorithm. Yeah, priming your post. Yeah, so there's that you know, kind of more longer strategy, and I've done that, not even necessarily always intentionally, but it's worked out. I was getting ready to launch a big course, and it was like a few days before I announced, you know, that I was pregnant, which on Facebook, you know, is going to get the biggest. Yep. So thinking about that, like what are things that are going to get engagement so that you are more likely to see the next post. But even priming your post is in like, you're getting ready to make a post, going in and 5 minutes before, liking, commenting with other people, especially if there's people that you want to see your post.
Yeah. Tag people. Tagging people is huge.
Yeah. They're going to end up seeing your stuff. Even DMs, you know, if you're sending direct messages and someone's messaging you back, then the algorithm's going to say, oh, you like each other. And then they're more likely to see your post in the feed. So lots of things you can do to just kind of help, you know, for free, get more visibility.
When it comes to social media health assessment, here's what you do, Brenda, is you get your top 50 clients into a room and you ask them about what if they see you online as being indicative of your service offline. You need a board of directors. Every single one of you guys need a board of directors with your business. It's your top 20 clients, top 5 clients. If you're brand new, your industry partners, differentiate from the source. When it comes to health assessments, ask them where they are more than anything. Twitter. Okay, here's the thing with Twitter. It hasn't really grown. And whenever Elon Musk, apparently that was a big show. Twitter's a weird place right now. It's trying, but I like to follow people on Twitter. Brian Boero is a fantastic follow on Twitter about industry stuff. Jimmy Mackin is also really, really good. I mean, this dude just puts out nuggets that makes me think every day. And we're looking to get him here at DMAR for an event as well. But I'll tell you, the best way that I continue to leverage Twitter right now is to follow journalists. Journalists are all over Twitter or Instagram, one of the two, okay? And they're always looking for news. Follow and favorite journalists, get notifications for what they put out there, because this is a fantastic way to set the record straight about what the market is, because these guys tend to do the if it bleeds, it leads kind of thing. And to be able to kind of talk about the market with these guys, this is continues to be the best way that I have seen people leverage the hell out of Twitter. Thoughts on that?
I'm hoping for Twitter. I'm like, come on, Twitter, I want you to make a comeback. We have a chance. Yeah, you know, I would say just overall, my clients aren't, you know, unless they're in a specific space or you're a thought leader, you know, politics, Bitcoin, there are things that are doing that use Twitter, but just like as an overall platform for anybody, it's not usually a big win right now, but it could change. So we will see. Christina was talking about, yeah, good points, using hashtags, but just using the data. She's talking about using the data to be smart, right? Of what is working, what's not. On all of these platforms, you have insights. You can go in and look at what are your top posts. That's something I track for my clients every month, their top 3 posts. So these things are working. We're going to keep doing more of these things. This is what she's saying. You know, the other thing you can do is if you're into stories, I love stories, you can do polls. You can ask people questions like, you know, should I do a reel on this or this? Like, what should I talk about? Poll your audience and see what they're interested in. But yeah, using the data that's available to you and just follow the trends, right? If it's working, do more of it. If it's not, stop and do something else.
On hashtags, minimize it. Don't put 20 of them on there. Also, unless you are actually trying to get like Denver realtors to be your, like that's your customer base, which is most of you shouldn't be that way. Don't use hashtags that are proprietary to real estate. So like if you're like Matthew's in a sexy neighborhood, you know, talk about that, use that in a hashtag. But like what I think the biggest mistake that I see realtors doing is they put like Denver realtor as a hashtag. No one uses that but other Denver realtors. So if you're using a hashtag, all you're going to do is influence other people like your competition. Unless you're like a mortgage dude, title dude, or a roofer, that might be great. But for the most of you guys, it's not. Okay. Here's a really good example of a brokerage, a team, and a group of agents that have only done video. This is Raj Kisar and the Boutique Real Estate Group. If you hit his website, you'll see it. Everything is video based. 2020 to 2022 has been the year of video. And you know what we did as an industry people is that we annoyed folks enough with video is that they turned real estate video off. I talked to the guys at YouTube about it. Real estate video traction has actually plateaued over the last couple of years, mostly because the bounce rate is so high, which means they don't like your content, okay? So when you're thinking about video, have video that resonates. What I love about Raj and what he does when it comes to his videos is that he puts in these small snippets of videos, you can see here, anywhere from 27 views. Some of these things have, look at that, 1,600 views, 1,400 views, 9,000 views. If you look at these, the views of the videos that he's got the most views is that his clients are a part of the video. And it tells the story of the neighborhood along with the story of the home when it comes to that video, which leads to more people sticking around and rewatching it. So get out of the way and start talking about the neighborhood and start talking about the home before you get in there and really get in. These guys have really pioneered the use of video in real estate. This guy's one of the most brilliant users of videos I've ever seen in real estate. Give him a follow, give his team a follow. They are so good at it. Thoughts on video?
Yeah, I mean, video is still everything, right? When we think about, you know, someone, we're talking about, we want them to feel like they know you. The best, quickest way to do that is video. I mean, if you would have to see photo after photo, you know, but to actually see someone video, hear them talk, just, you feel like you know them instantly. So it's still really effective to take your people through that kind of know, like, and trust. But it's also, I mean, everyone's chasing video, right? Like Instagram is now a video app, because it's still all video. But this is an example of them, you know, choosing their thing and going all in on it. But, you know, we talked about storytelling also, but it's that storytelling everyone loves a story, right? I mean, there's that beginning, middle, and end. When it's a story, we tend to just like listen, stop, and actually pay attention. And we also remember it. And there's so much more emotion in it. So
Yeah.
I love what you said about telling the story of your, you know, your buyers, telling the story of the house, telling the story of the community. But and it's not about you, right? It's like you telling the story and making either the home or your clients the heroes.
Yeah. Video, guys, by the way, almost all of it is viewed on mute. So if you look at like Stuart Crowell's videos, you look at Tick-Tock videos, if you notice that you have captions for what people are talking about, it's because most of it's viewed on mute when you shouldn't be watching it. So one of the best tools that we use actually here at DMAR is rev.com. Rev.com, literally you upload your video, some dude in India literally listens to your video, transcribes what you're saying, gives it back to you in a text format, and can give you captions to put on your video itself. YouTube also does it. If you get enough followers on Instagram, I think you need 10,000 or more. Instagram will actually do that for you. But and when it comes to video, you go down that route, assume people are going to watch it on mute. So it needs to be visually stunning rather than you talking, which I think is another mistake that a lot of realtors make.
Yeah, I rarely have the sound on. I'm normally holding a baby, or people are in doctor's offices, or Instagram now, at least with reels and your stories, you can add the captions. You don't have that many followers, but I've used rev.com. It's extremely affordable and worth it. The other thing that I love if you use rev.com is you can get the transcript. So what I would do with my videos, I would, send them to Rev, get the captions, and then you get the transcript. So now you have blog. I mean, you can literally take it and post it on your website as a blog, and have a blog, embed the video. So again, if you send out the email and they can't watch the video, they can just read the blog. Or some people just prefer, to read over like watching the video. So it's taking that content and then being able to put it in different formats and putting it out there. So however your clients like to consume, they've got options.
Yep. It is rev.com, rev.com. So that's great. rev.com. Fantastic. By the way, once you get that transcript, put it in the general description of your YouTube video. If you go, or the general description of the YouTube video itself, create yourself an album, whatever you need to do, pay for the account if you want to do it. That's how you get the really cool tools. There are more searches for real estate and how do I, which is how how every Rev or every YouTube video starts, video search starts, how do I? So go with that route, educate people, but have that transcription in your description so that when people search for it, they'll see it, right? Really cool stuff. It helps with the YouTube algorithms as well. Okay, so there are other tools that are out there. Splice has been mentioned by Brenda. By the way, there's been a couple of questions asked about things like sharing listing photos that aren't your own. Please don't do that. I get a lot of complaints about that. Frankly, you shouldn't be using the MLS. Once in the MLS, it's not even your photos either. So there's somebody that actually got fined for that. You shouldn't be sharing other people's listings. I would say in general, there's lots of other things to talk about than a home that's sold in 5 minutes in multiple offers. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. General guideline with how long blog posts should be. Well, that's a good question.
Yeah. People don't read very long, right? So typically one tip is you want to make it very scannable, right? So you want to have a title, maybe a quick intro paragraph, tell them what you're going to tell them. So if it's tips, maybe it's, 2 or 3 tips, as much as you can bullet or make short paragraphs, and then a conclusion paragraph with a call to action. We could talk about call to actions all day, but that's something else if like people are missing on every piece of content you create. What do you want them to do next, and have a really simple path. That's one thing I've kind of started getting into when it comes to strategy with my clients is like, what's the funnel? What's the path? The more you can make it really simple for them, like, call you, send out a form on your website, like whatever it is, get them to, download a freebie, whatever that looks like for you, do it consistently. Or maybe it's comment, go like or follow, but make sure you tell them what you want them to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think because there's a lot of folks who think that they need to make campaigns around it. Every message now is your campaign. So you really need to be soft or hard with what you're asking them to do. Really, it could be just simply as stay tuned for my next email, or look for my email that's maybe sitting in your email box. Little things like that. If you think about every message is your campaign, that leads to them using you, it takes a little bit of a nudge every time. As long as there's compelling content there that makes them want to open up that email, that makes them want to watch the rest of that video, you're going to be good when it comes to that content. So, don't overthink it.
The other thing on the blog I would just say real quick, or really with any piece of content, is keep it simple. It's one thing. I think so often we try to say like everything in one post or video. Our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. So if you find yourself like, oh, this video is too long, or that's another piece of content. Just one thing, keep it simple. And then, it's a different video or different blog for that other type of idea that you find yourself going down.
Yeah. Okay. So Brenda's asking, what can you use? A really good place to get like little cool snap-on tools for your phone, like stabilizers and whatnot, is hdhat.com. You can buy a whole slew of tools that allow you to basically clip on your phone. It's amazing now how many high definition cameras now. I've got a Canon camera that not only takes high quality pictures, but takes 4K videos and also streams to the internet. So, there's a lot of tools that you can get that do multiple things. In years past, you didn't want to have a Swiss Army knife of tools, but it's amazing what these things can do now that are kind of Swiss Army knives. It really depends on what you want to devote your time to. Okay, so think about that first, but know that at the end of the day, if you want to spend $100, you want to spend $5,000, there's going to be any tool in between that can help you out with that. I'm using a Mevo camera right now, and these Mevo cameras broadcast really, really well and can broadcast to the internet just by plugging it into your laptop, like what I've got here. Okay, so horizontal videos versus vertical videos.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's been a big debate about that.
Yeah, most everything is vertical right now. Used to be horizontal. I think, Facebook still probably better for horizontal, but most everything else is vertical. And I know Brenda kind of commented there, but yeah, if you stick with vertical, for the most part, you're going to be safe as far as stories and reels. But yeah, one of the questions also was, how to record yourself with the phone. I mean, it depends on what type of video you're doing, right? But if it's, if you want to record it to your phone, again, it's getting a tripod, getting it in there with good lighting, recording on your phone, and then you can really easily edit. If you're just kind of trimming on your phone, if you need to do more editing, you can drop it into iMovie. Like, this is keeping it very simple, right? For Reels or TikTok, I mean, just going within the app and recording it, you can edit it all from within there.
Yeah. I think the big thing though is to not overcomplicate this.
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
100% of you guys, if you're not on TikTok, that's totally fine. You're weirding out 12-year-olds anyways. It's cool. But the thing you might want to think about is being tweetable, being Facebookable, being TikTokable. So here's a good example of some of the things, and like being nimble with your client appreciation and making that social, making it something that people want to post. Here's a good example of what my wife did during the pandemic was, she sold houses. All of you guys sold a ton of houses during this time, but you couldn't touch your clients. It was crazy, right? So during this pandemic time, what she did was she hired, again, a photographer to go out and do porch photos for closing gifts. It was amazing how many of those people turned around and posted their pictures onto Facebook and pinged Haye while she was doing it. It added to their client, to their friends and their families' experience. All of you guys can do this if you start thinking about what you can do to be Facebookable and be tweetable. And by the way, like my wife just concentrates on things like blogging. That's it. Blogging, that's it. Posts to her Facebook page. She has a marketing person that does it for her, but tells that story. But here's the things that she does for reviews and recommendations. Screenshots that go on her Facebook pages of Real Satisfied. On the right-hand side is a really good example of information that her clients didn't know they needed to know. Like all of you guys who have returned that, what's your favorite like puppy poll? You've basically filled the internet with with everyone and their mother's personal identifiable information for things like password recoveries. This is why you get hacked, y'all, right? So putting that information there, this is one of my wife's most shared Facebook posts that's out there. And when it comes to groups, this is a really good example again of how these Facebook groups can be. My wife has zero time to be on social media. And frankly, if you're selling a lot of real estate, you're gonna have a very limited amount of time to do it. So activate your clients' who can get this stuff done. Because if you see the trends that are out there right now, when you see activating your ambassadors, this is what these disruptors are out there doing right now. You know, Open Door, 100,000 happy customers. If you look at Orchard, they're here in the Denver area, 38,000 valuations. How many people have you made happy? This is what you all can do, guys. And on top of that, Google your clients when you get them into your orientation and protect them on social media. Tell them to shut up on social media, because that's also a big problem that's out there right now. Thoughts on the client conversation?
As far as, give me more, sorry.
Yeah, like protecting them online.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I see things all the time that I'm like, your realtor probably, you shouldn't be sharing that. Your realtor shouldn't, like, why are you sharing that? Yeah, so definitely, you know, yeah, you want to empower them, and we want them to be your advocates afterwards, but yeah, protecting them from not oversharing or saying too much
From themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, boost those posts that are client centric, and you're going to be okay. Let's talk about listings real quick. Is there a good way to market listings nowadays on social media?
I mean, I think we've said it so many times, but I think it really goes back to telling the story of the home, you know, picking and not trying to like tell it all, right? It's you're not everything through the house, like one or two of those unique features. Think about what makes it unique. Think about who is most likely to buy that house or be interested in that house, and what would attract them, you know? So is it the backyard that's going to be perfect for entertaining? Is it the, you know, basement for the kids? Is it the remodeled kitchen? But figuring out those one or two things, and then telling the story of the home. I think it can be done really well in video. I mean, almost like, you know, you're opening the door and like they're like helping them feel like they are there in the home, and giving kind of that walkthrough and tour and highlighting those things. If it's photos, if you're going to use photos, 3 to 5, you know, grabbing the best part and then linking them if they want to see the rest of them for more.
Yeah. You know, carousels on Instagram actually help do the most saleable aspects of the home. If it's a eat on the floor of the bathroom type home, share that information, right? What is it about that home that makes it a verb? Okay, the most saleable aspect. What did you do to stage it if you actually had a stager? I think the big thing right now is staging. I think there's a lot of crappy houses out there that could get more if they were just staged a little better. Because most of your sellers were held hostage by them, think that they can get everything for their house without doing it, although that's starting to change per the Google. Okay, so we'll end this with this. Let me put my screen back up here. One of the things that we'll be launching here at DMAR is a DMAR only alliance with a company called Collabra, who is already integrated into things like RE Colorado, so that when you get a listing, guys, you will get an email that prompts you to, hey, for $20, we can turn your listing into easy, socially shareable, with its own website and flyers, to social media and for your marketing in the real world as well. Look out for that when it launches in June. The RE Colorado data feed is done. It's only for DMAR members who are, or subscribers of RE Colorado. Really good info, really good tech that allows you to go around and put your information, put your listings online in a really cool way with a post-transaction element that is going to be pretty cool. A kind of home snap without kind of the weird home snap stuff. So look out for that. Collabra was gracious enough to lend Tia to these seminars that we've been doing. So look out for that in June when that launches. If you have any questions about that, please give me a shout, and give me a shout online via my Instagram if you want to. Or email if you have any questions on anything that might be happening with there. So
that's really slick. Yeah, high quality, you know, video photos makes it easy and super easy. I don't know that you mentioned this. I think it was on the slide, like to share to social media. So it connects to your accounts and you can easily share it.
Yep.
Great.
So
tool.
get the most beautiful aspect of your next listing ready to go. Once you put it in the coming soon with RA Colorado, you're going to get that prompt. So you'll have your marketing ready to go when it goes live. So don't be afraid to go and click on that email. $20 is the introductory rate for that, for at least for this year, because we want to be able to kind of build the market with you guys, along with building the post-transaction market as well, so that you can use your listings for your next listing lead generation as well. So any parting thoughts as we go? What's the one thing people should be doing with their social media as they head into the selling season and into the next year's business?
Well, that's two things, I guess, because I had a thought, and then when you're talking about that, I mean, I think it's just getting a plan, right? So taking the time, heading into that next season to come up with a plan of what you're going to post, figuring out, as we talked about, your posting plan, getting your content calendar, getting this lined up. But one thing that I think, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're doing, that you can be doing every day or every week, is just sharing your journey, sharing, telling your story, sharing behind the scenes. Every client I have, it's like, and sometimes it's hard to do, because we feel weird, like nobody cares about that. But those posts, when you share behind the scenes, it's authentic, it's human, it's what people go on social media to see. And so even, if you do nothing else, start taking some pictures, and then at the end of the day, look at your photos from the day and like, what did I do today? What can I share? Maybe it's grabbing coffee at your favorite coffee shop. I mean, for me, obviously it's like doing this today, but yeah, just sharing the day-to-day behind the scenes. People care. And it also, again, goes back to that brand. It makes you feel relatable. They're seeing you, it builds that relationship. So it's really easy. Those photos don't have to be Photoshopped, it's just pictures or short little videos of you throughout the day. Anybody can do that.
Yeah. Market the process, not the result, guys. I think one of the things that the most enabled consumer, and we're dealing with them no matter what, no matter how young or old they are, is that they're expecting to see value from you, right? And the only way to see that is to get into the habit for you to market that process. People want to know how the sausage is made now, right? So get uncomfortable, make them uncomfortable to show off the value that you guys have within you, okay? So concentrate on that when it comes to any kind of social media use. Tell that story and be you while you're doing it, okay? That's good. This is great. Travis, thank you. Julie, back to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nobu and Tia. That was really helpful. I was taking notes myself for my own social media. So I appreciate that. Real quick, I want to thank again, Travis Maurer with Legacy Mutual. Travis, if you didn't just already put your contact information in the chat, that would be great so people can reach out to you. And again, thank you, Matthew Haye, with our annual sponsor, Chase. If you're still on the call, please go ahead and put your contact information in the chat as well so people can reach out to you. I do want to bring up a couple of great events that we have coming up quickly here on Tuesday, May 24th from 11 to 1. We've got the YPN Painted Prairie Builder Tours. And guess what, guys? I know it's going to be a little chilly on Tuesday. We're still going. The builders are waiting for us. They have food, they have beverage. And Painted Prairie is one of those award-winning communities. You guys, if you haven't been out there, you need to go. So please plan on that. It is a free event, again, hosted by our YPN group. And then again, by our YPN group on Thursday, June 23rd, the New Development Insider. If you are looking for inventory, this is where you need to be. We will have between 15 and 20 builders and developers there presenting their communities to you, giving you information. We provide you with this coveted 8.5 by 11 beautiful book with all the developments, all the information about those developments that you can use when speaking with your clients about what's available out there. So you become the knowledgeable source for them. They go to you when they need something. Again, June 23rd, 9 to 1, that is at Empower Field at Mile High, which will also be fun. And breakfast will be served. So we hope that you will join us for those two events. And now we did finish a little early. If you would like to hang on the line here and do a little networking with some of your peers here, we will hold this open. We encourage you to join us and hang out for another 15 minutes and let's talk some more social media.
Yeah, man, I got nothing until 11. If you guys want to talk about everything, keep coming with your questions, Brenda. But Tia's got to go make a flight, right?
Fingers crossed. Send me all the good travel vibes.
Lots of good vibes for your safe travel. No worries. You're going to get out of here fine. No weather.
Yeah, I do have a question. So whenever you create content, say I use my Splice editor or I'm using TikTok to create a video, I download that and then I post to, say, Instagram Reels. And this is probably something you may or may not know, but is that Instagram algorithm catching that it's coming from a different platform, like the video was created in a different platform, not their Reels?
As long as you're posting it from the Instagram app, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Reels, by the way, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Tia showed off a stat yesterday. It was stat. The amount of people that know how to swipe left and right is way higher than the people that scroll up and down now. So Reels is a place to go. And if you look and see what's happening out there, like I mentioned it yesterday, United freaking Airlines has got a Reels functionality on their app. Like, I don't care about airplanes on a reel, but it goes to show you how quickly things are changing when it comes to way people integrate or interact with social media.
Yeah. Another stat I didn't share yesterday that it was from I think 2020 to 2021, the engagement rate for images, right? So non-video on Instagram has gone down by like 40%, which I'm honestly surprised it wasn't more. But the stat I shared yesterday was just my analytics on Instagram, and it was like Reels, right? Counts reached engagement was like this long, and then it was like everything else was like this, so it's like, why, if you're going to be posting, you need to be posting Reels, because it's just, I mean, the reach that you can get, the engagement you can get is just staggering compared to images. And I don't think, I know it's always a slow rollout when they make these updates, but I just saw they're changing the algorithm where it's only going to be Reels, and then everything else will be like a drop down. So your static images, carousels, everything else won't even be in the main feed anymore.
Yeah, video is it's kind of crazy how much video now has become the way to interact. Even static images turned into videos have become a thing in my Instagram feed.
Yep.
So yeah, do it right. It sounds like you're doing it right in the beginning, Brenda. Yeah, you're good. Just, I wouldn't use like a tweet deck to take that one video and do all three social media platforms, because they will definitely smack you down for that.
Right. And I know Instagram forces you to, whenever you post your reel, like you can post static images and it'll carry on to Facebook if you allow it to, but they will not carry your reels over to Facebook. You have to like actually take your reel and post it into Facebook with the content that you want on it.
Yep.
But for the reels, you said it's changing. Are you talking about Instagram? It's just going to be heavy on reels like TikTok?
Yeah, like the feed. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be basically what TikTok is. Another quick tip on Reels that a lot of people don't do: after you post it to the feed, you can share it to your story, and those views that it gets in your story will count and help, just the algorithm determine how many people they're going to show it to. So that's a really quick, easy thing to do that a lot of people don't do.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody want to talk about Reddit? Yeah, you know how big the real estate community is on Reddit? It's creepy. I stayed out of it when I was at NAR, but it's massive there. There are a lot of conversations happening about real estate on Reddit. So if you want to delve in, cool. But feel free to get creeped out by it. All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm an open book. So if you have questions, feel free. You can DM me on Instagram, go to my website, send me a message. Yeah, I can take questions. If you think of them later, I'm happy to help.
Okay, thank you.
Want to bounce out of here?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody say goodbye to Tia. She's got to make an
Bye.
airplane.
Thanks.
Bye,
for
Tia.
having me.
Thank you. If anyone else wants to stay on, I can hold this open. If you guys want to network amongst yourselves, that'd be great. Nobu, are you hanging out here? Okay, Nobu is hanging out, so we can talk with Nobu.
Julie, we don't have time for that. We have to go create reels.
Get busy, people. Create those reels.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for attending today. Anyone else?
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Melanie. Nobu, thank you.
Thank you,
I gotta
Travis.
bounce out, but it's been great. Appreciate it. This has been great content. You guys are amazing for putting this stuff on for us, so really appreciate it.
Thanks for attending both days. We appreciate your support.
Yep. Hit me up if you guys need anything. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Hey, Nabu, I have a question maybe others might be interested in, because I follow a lot of realtors being in the association, but I see sometimes they post jokes about the market and how hard it is for buyers. I see these things like, oh, what a buyer looks like in this market. I question that. Is that wise?
I think making people feel and look stupid is probably the worst thing you could do on any platform. What we don't have enough of in this industry is empathy. And if you're not showing some empathy to people who can't afford to buy a home right now or unsure about what to do, which you're definitely doing when you're cracking jokes about these people, is not earning business. And that is a consistent. Give people a path. I think that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really good example. Down payment resource. It has long been a MLS add-on that no one in the MLS world uses. That's most realtors here. Okay, they don't think about using it. It's like, oh, that's the mortgage thing. Down payment resource recently has become public with Zillow. So every listing that Zillow has on their website has the down payment resources attached to it, and the engagement with those listings has gone up. So like people want to know about what options are available to them. A big thing, Roman's on here who does a lot of Airbnb stuff. This isn't about Airbnbs. It's really about investors. People who can afford to buy one house today can afford to buy another house as an investment right now. You're seeing that all over the country, including here. I mean, my wife has bought three homes in the last 6 months for investments. But Airbnb, like as an investment, is a thing, right? So you having a specialty there, Roman, is absolutely huge.
And just to add to that, it's almost like the price, I wouldn't say irrelevant because the numbers are so good, right? That's why people just can pay 50, 100,000 more. And then the retail folks can't afford that, right? Because they look at it as a primary residence versus, short-term rental as a business. So for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of expertise there. Don't be afraid to share it. Natalie's asking, are there any paid marketing platforms you could suggest? There are paid platforms you can use that will help with reviews and ratings. Reviews and ratings now has become kind of a flow to other platforms. So Real Satisfied is good. Somebody mentioned earlier, Rate My Agent, that has become a thing. All of these platforms now have the ability to feed to each other, and you're seeing a lot of that. I would pay for that especially if you're like a team or a brokerage out there that has a lot of a need for that type of frictionless sharing of reviews or recommendations. When it comes to everything else, the most I would pay for is maybe some like a marketing assistant. My wife has a part-time marketing assistant that all she does is craft messages. How a home was sold and whatnot, and puts that onto social media. There might be something we're going to do. And frankly, there are a lot of realtors that are out there that need this type of job right now. So, think about that. Like when you guys go to Painted Prairie, like live broadcast, that's perfect fodder for live broadcasts, by the way. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, I don't know if you got gamers out there that they're your clients. Discord has quickly become kind of a really good social media platform as well, kind of visible chat, which is cool. Podcasts are now a thing. Clubhouse has kind of led that, along with Spotify, getting your podcasts out there, but I would be consumer centric with what you do. All right. I don't think I see anything else in the chat. Still haven't figured out TikTok. I got an account, but I don't want to weird people out.
Hey, Nobu, what is the age range on TikTok? I'm wondering.
I think it skews under 25.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. It's pretty young, but I hear that a lot of people are creating their videos on there because it's easy, and then pushing them over to Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, get saved onto your phone. Then from your phone, it can go anywhere else. Yeah, TikTok is really good for that. It forces you to think short and sweet, 30-second videos, which is frankly what a lot of people have. Now, Facebook has gone the other route. Facebook actually wants longer original videos now. So that's perfect for things like recorded Zooms. And then you boost it. Another question I get asked a lot is budget. Don't spend a lot. I think you should tie it directly to client interaction, right? More than anything. So, make it commensurate to what you pay for is commensurate to what you're getting from people seeing it. And if you don't know, you should be asking.
Any other questions, comments? Nope. All right, then I think we are done for today. Again, this is being recorded. You'll be posted by next week. You'll be able to follow up again and watch it again if you missed anything. And all of our connects, all of our virtual meetings are recorded and posted on our website, and you can find it under resources, the resources tab. All right, Naboo, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thanks,
good
everybody.
weekend.
Have a good Friday. Stay warm.
Stay warm, everybody.